My name's Ken Burhanna. I'm Assistant Dean of Engagement and Outreach for University Libraries. It's a pleasure to have a few moments to talk with you today. Some of you probably had the good fortune of having a session with my colleague Paul Fairman yesterday in the general orientation. I'm going to maybe touch on a couple things he shared with you, but I'm really going to try to talk about some ways that you can engage with our services and resources in support of your mission as a teaching assistant, and in turn help engage your students with our services and resources. So I'm going to talk about some main bullet points here. Actually, a couple of the ones I added aren't on the list, so I might add a couple things that aren't on here right now. And then also I have a couple things I'd like you guys just to consider and think about. And then I'll try to keep it pretty brief, okay? So the thing I'd put at the top of this list, which isn't there, and it's probably the number one thing I'd want you to walk away with today, is knowing that you have a subject librarian assigned to your department or school. And this librarian, really you can view that librarian as your liaison for all things library. Whether it's a question on how to access one of the services or resources that I mentioned or my colleague Paul mentioned, or it's just a question that you don't even know if we can help you with, this is a person that you can turn to. It's also a person that will sit down with you, help you with research, help your students with research. There's also a brand new service that I'm sure Paul mentioned. It is not on this slide. It's called Discovery at Kent State. I wanted you to be aware of it. It's like Google for the library. It's brand new for us. If you go to our library's webpage, it's the default search box sitting on that page, and it's going to search most of the library's content in one search. So Kent Link, our library catalog, we have access to all the catalogs of the universities and colleges in Ohio through Ohio Link. It would search that. It would search most of our databases, and we're talking hundreds of databases. It will do it in an initial search, so it's a great first place to start, and it's something that we will be endeavoring to let students, especially incoming students, be aware of and learn how to use that tool, because it's going to help light up content that often could get overlooked. It won't be the end-all and be-all, but it's going to be a great first place to start. It's called Discovery at Kent State. We do have course reserve services. This is something you might be familiar with that really can support what's going on in your course. You can put materials online on e-reserve, or you can put them on physical print reserve in our library. Keep in mind that students face these pressures with textbook costs and things like this. So if you're able to put some materials on reserve, provide controlled access for your students, this can be a way to not only give them clear line to the content you want them to look at, but can help them manage the cost of their education here. We have done this for a couple years now. We take some of the Kent Core or our liberal education courses. We buy some of the textbooks for the most heavily enrolled courses and put them on reserve in the library to provide an avenue for students who are having trouble getting access to the textbook or buying it, to have a path to do that at no cost. Instructional support is something I want to talk to you guys about too. This will be the subject librarian you could contact for this, but I wanted you to be aware that we will come to your courses, or we'll invite your classes to the library. We can do general sessions such as just a library tour, or we can do an avoiding plagiarism session with your students, or we can customize a session to help your students understand the resources and use the resources that they need to use to accomplish the goals in your assignments and courses. So this is something that we want you to take advantage of. We have a robust program. We see about 10,000 students in face-to-face settings through these types of sessions each year. So I want you to be aware of that. We also have a number of library tutorials, which is on this list. We have a suite of them. Many of them are assigned in the college writing program, but these can be assigned to your students. And that's a conversation, again, to have with that subject librarian. But it's also a resource just to remind students and for you guys to take advantage of, because you can just go online, watch the tutorial, and get a clear understanding or get a basic understanding of some of our resources. I mentioned that Discovery at Kent State, we have tutorials in place right now that will give you an introduction to how to use that, and it can be assigned to students, and we are able to put little quizzes in Blackboard if you want students to take these as like a low stakes assessment in the course and give a little bit of points for that. We have interlibrary loan services. We also have article e-delivery services that work in tandem with that service. So if there's an article or book you can't get through Discovery at Kent State or you're not able to find, you can request it through interlibrary loan. It will be free. It'll take a little bit of time sometimes, but we really are in a day and age where you can almost get anything that's known in the world. We can probably find it for you in most cases. Also, if it's a print article that we hold in only a print format here, our journal collection, print journal collection is on the 6th floor of the large university library, which is right across from this building. You can request those through the interlibrary loan, and they will scan them, just send them to you. So if you have enough time, you can get out in front and just have your articles sent to you, and we'll scan them and send them over. It's about 2 business days turnaround. Of course, if you needed it today, we'd say come on over and head up on to the 6th floor and get the article physically yourself. But we're trying to come up with avenues of convenience to get these resources in your hand that fits your lifestyle. Like if you guys have departmental offices through your appointments, we can just, when you request books, we can just send them right to your office. For your students who live on campus, we now deliver books to the residence halls. So that's something to make your students aware of, and we're looking for new ideas on how to optimize what we're doing as well. We have a student multimedia studio right now, very busy. We're doing everything from helping students do PowerPoint presentations to helping them design and print 3D artifacts. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit more in a few moments. Study spaces is probably not a surprise to you. We're a big destination for that. I'll take the moment to point out, too, that we have the large university library, but if you have an appointment in performing arts or architecture and environmental design or fashion, we have or actually geography and geology as well, we have branch libraries located in those buildings, and they will provide very similar services, if not all, and your subject librarian is actually running those libraries, so that's something to be aware of. So all these libraries are potential study spaces. The library across the way has the most square footage, so that is something that we try to make widely available. So starting Sunday through the end of the semester, we'll be open 24/5 in that building. So if students or yourself are looking, or you're a night owl, or you're looking to get away from some of your roommates or find some quiet time, the library is going to be open all night long. Actually, when we get to the finals, the week before finals through finals week, we'll be open 24/7 then. Just be open nonstop for about the last 13 or 14 days of the semester. We're proud of our study spaces. We have group and individual. We have 2 years in a row been named the #1 place to study at Kent State. And if you run into my dean, he will not miss a moment to remind you of it. We are proud of it. We do have tutoring services. I mentioned in many ways the library can support what you're doing. In collaboration with the Academic Success Center and the English department, there's a writing commons on the 4th floor of the library where you can get an appointment with a writing tutor, or your students can. We have drop-in math tutoring available on the 1st floor. And it's really more than math. It's physics and chemistry and a lot of the science courses. Very, very busy. There's a math emporium on the 2nd floor where some math courses occur, and there's tutoring available adjacent to that space as well. And there's some scheduled tutoring on floor 6. So a lot of the tutoring opportunities on campus, there's a presence in the library. It's also a place where tutors that are kind of operating independent will come and meet with their students. So it's a busy space in that way. So a couple things I just want to ask you guys to think about. In my position, what I'm really trying to do is establish dialogues with user constituencies such as yourself. And a question that we're asking people who are involved with the teaching enterprise is, how can the library, or how can Kent State support innovation in your classroom? We've added 3D printing in the last year. It's just an example of what we're talking about. I have a quick story about 3D printing that I think is interesting. We were able to get a 3D printer through a gracious gift from our undergraduate student government. So last year at this time, we just started offering it We mediate the searches. The students send us print jobs. We look at them. We print them. We charge nothing. We don't even charge back for our materials, so we're giving it away at this point. We had about 150 print jobs fall semester, about 150 in spring, and we asked the students who made use of it, what are you doing with these printing jobs? 15% in the fall said they're using them for a class project or assignment. That number rose to 71 in the spring. 71% of those, more than two out of three print jobs, students had found a way to apply it to what they're doing in their coursework at Kent State. Some of that probably came from awareness rising among instructors, such as yourself. So be aware of this. If you have ideas for other types of innovations or using technology in new ways or technology that you don't know if it's present at Kent State, talk to your subject librarian, talk to me. We want to hear about these things. Hillary Kennedy is the manager of our student multimedia studio. It's right on the first floor. Actually, if you just go to the left of those escalators, when you walk in, you'll go to her front door. She'd be happy to talk with you about this too. So that's food for thought for you guys. And also, a kind of a theme of what we're trying to do is have ongoing dialogues with users like yourself. We're trying to optimize that user experience. So we are open to feedback, comments, criticisms, new ideas, questions at any point. An example of how we're doing that, and it actually ties into something David asked. We have ongoing dialogues with undergraduates, and they're asking for stuff like, have you thought about a treadmill in the library? Well, we have a walk station on the 4th floor of the library right now. We also have a stationary bike, and we have new beanbag chairs, and we're putting in microwaves on floors 1 and 4. These are all based out of conversations that we've had with students, and then ourselves triangulating it with what we know about how people learn. And as David said, people are made to move. Students were saying, I keep falling asleep. Can I just get up for a moment? So we have a little book stand up there. You can take your laptop or your iPad up there. It's governed, as they say. It only goes 2 miles an hour, so it's not to get a workout, but it's get the blood flowing. Like I said, we have a little stationary bike, and we're going to try this out. So those are, non-traditional, right, in the library sense, but we think it's good for the learning experience at Kent State. And we're trying to make the library a place where, both online and in person, it's a place where students, faculty, staff, community members can come and do what they need to do to be successful. So, more food for thought for you guys. We want to keep the dialogue going. Finally, I'm going to leave you with kind of a save-the-date moment. We hold a library conference each fall. It will be November 6th this year. It is targeted at faculty and grad students. So this is a free event, and we do feed you pretty well. Where you'd have 4 or 5 sessions throughout the day targeted around library services, or maybe examining how we should innovate services, talking about how to use new resources. It's a great way to meet people across disciplines on campus and to have deeper discussions about how the library can support what you're doing. So again, remember your subject librarian. If you haven't taken a walk through the library and met that person, think about emailing and saying, hey, can you meet me for 20 minutes? They'll give you a brief tour. You can ask some questions. They'll tell you some things they think are important about your discipline, and you will have a new contact to help you. So, subject librarian, myself, I'm always open to any questions or contacts. I wish you the best at Kent State. You do play a really strategic and critical role here, so we appreciate everything you do. And Kent State's a great place to be. So thank you very much.